Let's walk through the process of creating a three-way budget and reach reporting, step by step. Once in a company, look for the Budgets option in the left menu. Click on Create New at the top right to begin. You also have the option to set up a multi-year budget group, or create a budget by class or department. For more details on these features, be sure to check out our other planning videos. Start by selecting all financial statements needed for the three-way budget. Then, choose a bank account. This will be your balancing account, tracking all money in and out based on your budget assumptions. Set your budget date range. You can choose a period up to 5 years in advance. Now you can either pre-fill the budget with actuals, another budget or forecast values, or start building from scratch. If you choose to pre-fill the data, you can also apply a growth rate. This growth rate will automatically apply to your entire profit and loss, but not to the balance sheet, which pre-fills with the final month's actuals. You can exclude deleted accounts, though keep in mind this could affect the pre-fill of historical data. Give your budget a name and click Create. Whenever you open the budget, Reach Reporting will check for any missing accounts to ensure your balance sheet stays in balance. The first time you open the budget, a settings pop-up will appear. You can always access this by clicking the gear icon at the top left. Each financial statement will have a grayed-out reference column, which pulls in pre-fill period data for easier budget and historical data comparisons. As you make changes to your budget, you can always refer to the actual data by clicking on the column and check the variance to your budget values. Let's begin by budgeting for the profit and loss statement. To save you time, Reach Reporting offers powerful drivers that help automate your budgeting process. You can access them by clicking on the gear icon next to each row. Let's explore how they work. Drivers called Based on Previous Year, Trailing Average and Forecast algorithms create projections from your historical data. Let's start with Based on Previous Year driver. It pulls in actuals from the prior year. You can choose to apply seasonality, where each month's data follows last year's trends, or you can distribute the total value equally across months. Let's assume this sales account will follow last year's trend without any adjustments to the growth rate. Notice how values went down since originally we pre-filled the budget with prior year data assuming 2% growth rate. Next, let's explore the trailing average driver and assume that this account's monthly sales follow the average of last quarter's sales. Again, you can allocate and adjust target values to your preference. Use the Preview option to check your projected output, shown in dark blue columns, and main statistics at the top of the window. We will adjust and use a 10% growth rate for this account. For sales projections here, we'll use a forecast algorithm, specifically the linear forecast. This assumes that sales will follow the average growth trend from the past 2 years. You can use the Preview feature to visualize future trends, with dark blue showing projected values and light blue showing prior year's values. The trend line will show the best fit between 2 years of historical data. You can also exclude values after the booked month to ensure only finalized actuals are included in the calculation. Another option under forecast algorithms is the period-over-period growth rate. Unlike the linear trend, this driver applies year-over-year growth rate while considering monthly seasonality. However, be cautious. This won't work well if you have 0 values in the past 2 years, as this can distort projections. If you have a spending cap or a sales target, you can use the annual target driver. For example, let's assign a $100,000 annual target for this expense account and allocate it evenly across the year. You can choose to keep the amounts fixed each month or make them responsive to any budget adjustments. With the responsive option, if 1 month's spending exceeds the target, the remaining months will adjust to ensure you stay within the annual limit. Any cells that override the automated drivers will turn yellow, so you can easily spot your driver's adjustments. If you want, you can apply the same driver to multiple accounts by multi-selecting them and choosing your preferred driver. To keep track of all changes made using drivers, check the visual icons next to each row. While automation does a lot of the heavy lifting, Reach Reporting still gives you the freedom to adjust your budget further. To allocate custom amounts equally across months, first click on the starting cell, then use the options at the top right to set the allocation type. Let's go with a monthly increase of $10,000 for this account. You can easily override any value with manual input or use formulas, just like you would in a regular spreadsheet. To see all supported formulas, click on the View All option. For example, let's say discounts apply only if the labor income is greater than $30,000. In that case, a discount relative to the monthly sales proportion to total income is given. Otherwise, there's no discount applied. You can use both relative and absolute references to keep your formula locked when copying across multiple months. To do so, just drag the cell. Alternatively, you can right-click on a cell to access more copy and paste options, including the option to copy only values across. To take customization to the next level, use the datasheet. Create your own custom calculations with complex formulas, like payroll costs for new hires, new asset purchases and depreciation, and loan and interest payments. You can copy budgeted values from profit and loss and balance sheet, and build different what-if scenarios. To bring in even more data, connect an external spreadsheet. If you're interested in learning more, be sure to watch our additional in-depth videos. Once you've set up your datasheet calculations, you can simplify things by hiding rows you don't need. Just click the eye icon. The rows you choose to show can then be linked back to your profit and loss and balance sheet accounts. To do this, click the gear icon, select Link to Datasheet, and then pick the calculation you want to apply. To add an additional layer of understanding, right-click and use comments. They help you and your team communicate the reasoning behind the numbers. Added comments will be marked with a blue flag. You can also view the comment history at the top right, making it easier to keep track of your planning strategy. To customize how your budget is displayed, use the options at the top left. Click the arrow icon to quickly review group totals by collapsing all rows. From there, you can expand or collapse any group to suit your preferences. Whenever you update your budget values, the totals will automatically adjust. If needed, you can delete any account by clicking the pencil icon and checking the box for each account, then selecting Delete. If there are missing accounts, a warning icon will appear at the top. Check out our video on managing the chart of accounts to learn more. You can also click the icon next to it to hide rows with zero values, helping you focus on the important numbers. If you want to hide specific rows, simply select them, either individually or by holding Shift and clicking on each row. Then, right-click on the row number to hide. Don't forget to hold Shift for multiple row selection. Now, let's look at the balance sheet. Here you can budget for asset purchases, loans, and other balance sheet items. Similar to profit and loss, you can use drivers for automation or custom cell and datasheet inputs. There's a special driver in the balance sheet called Carry Forward, which automatically carries forward the value from the previous month. This driver will be turned on by default for all accounts. If you need to, you can override the value for any month to adjust the carry forward value. Let's add some budget items to the balance sheet. For example, we can add a $100,000 fixed asset purchase to the vehicles accounts in March, a $200,000 long-term loan for construction equipment in February, and for mortgage, starting in January, a $15,000 loan repayment each month. Click on the Settings gear icon to set up automated calculations for accounts receivable, accounts payable, and inventory. Suppose you usually have 60-day payment terms for bills and no cash payments. The system will automatically calculate the expected cash outflows and balance them across 2 months. This removes the need for complex formulas. If you want a deeper dive into this feature, check out our detailed video. All automated calculations, including the cash account, are locked for editing to prevent accidental changes. These are marked with a lock icon. But there are exceptions. You can override receivables, payables, and inventory calculations, as well as the retained earnings account. Changes in retained earnings adjust for business scenarios like restructuring, mergers, dividends, and other payouts. Simply type over the value or use formulas to adjust the budget values as needed. Let's now explore the automated cash projections for an even smoother budgeting experience. Once you make changes to your profit and loss or balance sheet, your cash balance will update automatically. For example, we recorded a $200,000 loan under long-term liabilities in February. This will show up as a cash inflow under financing activities, and the increase will be reflected in your February ending cash balance. This balance is the difference between the starting cash balance and adjustments made for budgeted cash inflows or outflows in February, coming from your profit and loss and balance sheet. The ending cash balance is equal to your bank accounts, as budgeted on the balance sheet, plus any undeposited funds if applicable. Since the cash flow statement is fully automated, it's locked to prevent accidental changes. Once you're finished budgeting, click Save and Close. When you click on the gear icon next to your budget, you will see some additional options. You can set a budget status tag to track your progress. You can clear this tag later if needed, and you can always check the status history to see how your budget has evolved. You can also include your budget in the client portal, lock or rename it. If you want to reuse your budget customizations, select Duplicate. Then, Go to Advanced Settings to adjust the time frame for reference data. The first time you do this, the historical data used in your driver calculations will update automatically. You can also choose to refresh your drivers whenever the budget is opened, which is helpful if your referenced actuals and budget data changes. If you prefer, you can manually refresh drivers by clicking the refresh icon. Another option is to convert your duplicated budget into a forecast. To learn more about forecasting, check out our additional video on the topic. Whether you're working with a single year or multi-year budget, be sure to set it as the default either by clicking on the gear icon or by selecting a preferred default budget in your company settings. This will automatically sync your budget data with template reports and dashboards. Speaking of templates, our library is full of customizable options. Pick a report or dashboard, and within seconds, you can compare your budget against real data. All templates are fully customizable to match your exact needs. Watch our additional videos on reports and dashboards to dive even deeper. And that's it. Happy budgeting! If you have any questions, send us a chat.